Your authority is imaginary. I work as a contractor for a very large organization. Within my contract company there's one person who holds power over me. Within the company we contract for I have two bosses I answer to. Unfortunately, there's someone in the contract company who clearly wants power over others. The way he tries to get it is by constantly trying to tell people how to do their job. Or try to find ways to say they're not doing it well. Also tattle to my company's boss on anything he can. Finally had enough, so cue malicious compliance. Guy comes into my department, goes through stock I have on hand and informs me we don't have enough on hand and I need to order more. I comply by taking a full inventory of all parts that can serve the same purpose as the one he mentioned and brought the list to one of the bosses of the larger organization. His response was perfect. Tell him to use the other parts if he needs to. I waited until afternoon break so I could say in front of a bunch of people, "Hey, just to let you know I checked with boss. He said currently stocked levels are fine." Him. What do you mean? Quote. Me. Approval has to come from him for orders. Him. I'll have to have a talk with him then. To be clear, the boss he's talking about is unbelievably higher than him and also thinks he's an A. Haven't heard anything in 3 weeks, so I know I'm good. Still get sweet dreams off of the look on his face when I got to throw it back in his face. Nice. These people are everywhere and just thrive on the small amount of power they think they have. I love to just do the Columbo technique when I can. I once had someone try to play boss to me like that. Kept dropping orders, saying, "We need these and do that." I just kept politely nodding my head. Every once in a while I'd tell him, "I need X by Z." A few weeks go by on we're in a big project meeting. Blowhard starts spouting off and his boss shuts him down. McGill, what's the status? Quote. It was at that point I pointed out, "Yeah Bob, I've been asking for XYZ and BH hasn't delivered. Now BH, if you're busy let me know and I'll get you reassigned." Quote. It was at that point where he got chewed a new butthole and found out he in fact was subordinate to me, as I was the project lead. Seems he literally didn't read the memo. I had a coworker like that. She even started banging the owner to get her power. Soon as I learned that, I polished my resume and upgraded my situation at every level. I'm upvoting this for the MC, but also because of the very specific description of someone that we've all encountered. That one guy he worked with who's on your level but just acts like he's your boss, face with rolling eyes, face with rolling eyes. And you haven't publicly asked him what the boss told him about this? I had one of those guys. He got hired onto the sales team and had a good first 4 or 5 months. He decided he was king shit and mentor to all the seasoned salespeople there. He started talking down to people, including people not in his department. We had an account with a particularly difficult person who managed the other side. That person got fired, and Los Huevos Grandes decided that sharing the news with people was his responsibility. I was chatting with an actual human in the office when he came around with his somber, empathetic face on to inform us that so-and-so over at blah de blah would no longer be handling the account because he was let go. The human I was talking to let out a whoop and maybe a hot damn. Quote. That really irked Huevos Grandes. And he adopted his, "I'm in control and you're a useless pleb," voice and said, "Hey. A man lost his job. He has a family. A little respect." To which the human responded, "Well, yeah. And I don't have to deal with him anymore." Bothered by not being taken seriously, Huevos doubled down with, "He isn't our contact anymore. That is all. End of discussion. Quote. At that point, I offered. For you. Sure. But we might continue to discuss it. I mean. You have no authority here. So you can't really forbid us to speak on something. He went bright red and lumbered away. It is probably my second favorite interaction I had with him. The first was when I saw him shit his pants. If this was a federal contract, you could have taken that as a directive. Logged a bunch of billable hours. And supplied them with a ton of the items this guy was complaining about. Best way to kill this behavior is to say, okay, but I'll need written, email approval from boss. Quote. Treat his orders like suggestions and make sure he knows you need someone else's approval over anything. Ah said, respect ma authority. There's certain workplace behaviors that are pathological. It's sad that HR and employees aren't trained up to recognize what they are so that corrective action is possible. There ought to be a book on workplace pathology of bad managers. I think that their behaviors often come across as looking good at first glance. So these people get promoted. It seems that being given any amount of power causes some people to become pretty toxic. Every job needs a team. And teams need teamwork. This isn't it. Petty power trip bastards everywhere. Well played, sir, well played. My husband recently had a lead on a project who couldn't actually do anything. Micromanaged people with way more experience. Lied about how much was done. Badmouthed everyone to the PM. Etc. He seems to have thought this was the way to get things done. Instead, someone way higher on the food chain came to see for themselves. Took a day or two to look around and quietly ask questions. And said lead is lead no more. And will never be again. And may be lucky to have a job. You get extra updates for putting the right amount of characters for the A. Yep, you just people dig themselves into their own hole. This is perfect! Exclamation mark. Then what happened? This story goes nowhere. Damn. Just neutered him right there. Nice job. Authority.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Eracast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.